Welcome to Concrete Block. I'm your host, Walter. Today, we're diving into the world of climate change and its far-reaching impacts. We have two significant stories to share with you, but first, let's start with a pressing issue that's affecting global weather tracking. The Global Climate Observing System, or GCOS, is facing a major funding crisis due to the withdrawal of U.S. support. This organization plays a crucial role in gathering data on weather systems, including the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, which is responsible for keeping Ireland's climate mild. Thelma Krug, chair of the GCOS Steering Committee, expressed concerns about the future of the organization, stating that they didn't receive payment for 2025 and are facing a big financial shock. This funding gap is not only affecting GCOS, but also putting global climate research at risk. Scientists rely on this data to understand and predict weather patterns, including extreme events like hurricanes and droughts. The impact of this funding crisis is being felt globally, from the Amazon rainforest to the Arctic. Researchers are working to fill gaps in data, but without sufficient funding, their efforts are being hindered. The GCOS has a wish list of projects that require billions of dollars, particularly for deploying satellites. If their funding situation isn't resolved, they may have to operate at a minimum level, which could have severe consequences for global climate research. This story highlights the importance of international cooperation and funding in addressing global challenges like climate change. As we continue to navigate the complexities of this issue, it's essential to prioritize scientific research and data collection. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into the complex world of international politics, where the stakes are high and the players are many. Today, we're focusing on Iraq, a country that has seen its fair share of turmoil over the years. The recent general election has been making headlines, with both Iran and the United States keeping a close eye on the proceedings. To break it down, the election is a pivotal moment for Iraq, with the country seeking to establish a stable government amidst regional tensions. The poll has been marked by tight security and a boycott by a significant political bloc, which has raised questions about the legitimacy of the process. Meanwhile, the international community is watching with bated breath, as the outcome could have far-reaching implications for the region. Renaud Mansour, a senior research fellow at Chatham House and director of the Iraq Initiative, has been following the developments closely. According to Mansour, many Iraqis are skeptical about the election, with some choosing not to vote or doing so with low expectations. This sentiment is reflected in the broader context of Iraqi politics, where corruption and sectarian divisions have long been major challenges. As we analyze the situation, it's essential to consider the various factors at play. The influence of neighboring countries, such as Iran, cannot be overstated. At the same time, the United States has significant interest in the region, making its involvement a crucial aspect of the equation. The Iraqi people, however, are the ones who will ultimately be affected by the outcome, and their voices must be heard. As we continue to monitor the situation, one thing is clear: the road ahead for Iraq will be fraught with challenges. But with a deeper understanding of the complexities involved, perhaps we can begin to see a glimmer of hope for a more stable future. Welcome back to Concrete Block. Today, we're diving into a critical situation that's been unfolding in Sudan. The country has been embroiled in a civil war since April 2023, pitting the Sudanese army against the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. This conflict has resulted in tens of thousands of deaths and an estimated 12 million people displaced, either within Sudan or across its borders. The Transitional Sovereign Council, backed by the military, controls most of the north, east, and center of Sudan, while the Rapid Support Forces control most of Darfur, a vast region in western Sudan and parts of the south. Reports of atrocities, including attacks on civilians and sexual violence, have been widespread. The international community has been criticized for its muted response to the crisis. Recently, the U.S. and other brokers proposed a humanitarian ceasefire, which the Rapid Support Forces said they were willing to sign on to. However, the military government has not commented on the matter. The United Nations has been working to provide aid to those affected by the conflict, but officials say that international contributions have been dismal, making it difficult to provide adequate support. Kelly Clements, Deputy High Commissioner of the UNHCR Refugee Agency, described the stories of refugees fleeing the fighting in El Fasher as horrific. She noted that around 87% of the refugees are women and children, and that the majority of women and girls have been assaulted or subject to sexual violence. The situation is not only dire for those directly affected by the conflict, but also for countries like Chad, which are hosting large numbers of Sudanese refugees. The UNHCR has praised Chad's willingness to keep its borders open to those in need, but officials say that much more support is needed from the international community to provide adequate aid and infrastructure. As we close out today's show, it's essential to remember that this crisis is not just a humanitarian issue, but also a complex geopolitical situation. It's crucial for the international community to come together to provide support and work towards a peaceful resolution. The people of Sudan deserve our attention, and it's time for us to take action. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.